The North Atlantic Treaty Organization will bolster its eastern flank and host an emergency summit in response to Russia's attack on Ukraine. Calling Russia's moves a brutal act of war, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said Thursday that the alliance plans to send more troops east in the coming days and weeks. He said the alliance had activated defense plans to help ensure that there is no spillover into any NATO member country, but he did not disclose what that means. Russia has attacked Ukraine, Stoltenberg told journalists from NATO headquarters in Brussels. Peace in our continent has been shattered. Later Thursday, President Biden announced that he had authorized additional forces to deploy to Germany and Poland. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia and Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies, he said in a White House address. The United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power, he continued. The good news is, NATO is more united and determined than ever. The remarks followed an extraordinary meeting of NATO members and formal requests by officials in 8 Eastern European and Baltic nations, including Poland and Estonia, to hold a security consultation under Article 4 of NATO's 1949 founding treaty. The measure lets allies register their defense concerns in a way that stops short of a formal request for assistance after an attack. Russia launched a military assault against Ukraine early Thursday, with attacks coming from the north, east and south, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who declared martial law and broke off diplomatic ties with Moscow, as Ukrainian forces tried to push back Russian forces at Eastward. Ukraine is not a member of NATO but has expressed a desire to join. Russia contends that the eastward expansion of NATO, which has accepted nearly a dozen Central and Eastern European nations as members since the breakup of the Soviet Union, poses an existential threat.